I'm gonna be completely honest with you, reviewing this next car was a problem. A very big problem. Not because we didn't like it, it's because we absolutely loved it. See, we have a budget to produce videos for you guys. The problem? Well, we almost blew through half of our entire monthly budget just driving this thing, from tolls and gasoline, simply because it was just that great to drive. We almost ran out of money to shoot this thing. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the 2020 Toyota GR Supra. Pretty.
Yo, it's not a Supra!
Man, where do we even begin? This thing is just gorgeous. Look at the front clip alone. It's just titillating with curves. It's gorgeous. The headlamps, no need for fog lamps down below because they are that good. All LED affair with turn signals and DRLs found here. It's got quirks too, like 4 vents here and on the other side, 8 in total all over the car, and a front nose that would make even Kamui Kobayashi proud. Open her up, and at the heart of this Toyota, with a little help from other car companies, is a 3-liter twin-scroll turbocharged engine that is a straight 6, called the B58, not to be confused with the B52. Now, this thing produces 335 horses and 500 Nm of torque, mated to an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. Now, when you buy a car like this, normally you get 86, pardon my pun, fuel consumption figures, right? But get this. In the city, you're doing at about 5 kilometers per liter. That's when traffic is heavy. Now, when that clears up and you're going to church on a Sunday like a good little boy, you're doing about 11 kilometers per liter. Now, on the highway, it's sorcery. It does 17 kilometers per liter. That's not even the weirdest part. Earl, being the sneaky guy that he is, took this guy on the track to see how it would do on the track in terms of fuel economy, he says. But the weird thing is that it actually did better, because on the track, hauling ass, this thing did 5.7 kilometers per liter. So in the city, it actually does worse than it does on the track hauling ass. Solution? Turn EDSA into a racetrack. Please, please. Its side profile, much like the front, is absolutely gorgeous. Just look at it, the way it flows, like it cuts through the wind. It's smooth like butter. I do have to admit though, the one thing about this car when I first saw it is I actually thought it was going to be bigger. It's actually quite tiny. Kind of like what Earl's girlfriend said. It's not like a smart car, no, not at all. I mean, look at this thing. Its side profile alone makes it look like it gets things done very, very quickly, even when it's standing still. Like it goes through things really, really fast. Again, Earl's girl. You've got repeaters on the side mirrors, a pair of indents on the roof to improve the headroom in the interior, black plastics here, more 4 vents here that, well, you really shouldn't spend too much time looking at. Your contact points to the ground are these beautiful 19-inch wheels wrapped in 35 series tires. Staggered sizes too, 255 up front, 275 at the rear. You've also got a 4-piston caliper to do all the stopping power up front. Now underneath, you're only looking at 115 millimeters of ground clearance, which is really not much. Kind of like its wheelbase. Tiny because the wheelbase of this guy and the Wigo are all of 20 millimeters apart. So small. Again, Earl's. They don't come to me, they just come out like that. Now, admittedly, one of my favorite parts of the Supra has got to be the rear. It's just so shapely. It's like a sculpture. Look at it, it's gorgeous. It's like Toyota did this on purpose so that when you zoom past anyone at 200 kilometers per hour, they actually have something to look forward to. It's an all-LED affair back here, just like up front, with your third brake light, rear tail lamps, reverse light, and fog lamp found down below. There's also 4 vents that can be found on this side and on that side, which brings the grand total to, you know what, I totally forgot already, but you are keeping count, then good for you. When you open her up, you are only looking at 290 liters of space, which really isn't much, but if you think about 2 things, here, hear me out. Number 1, it's actually more space than a Toyota Wigo. That's right, more. And second, there are subs back there. Oh yeah, subs. Now, getting into the driver's seat of the Supra is like being in a bespoke suit. It's easy to find your perfect driving position because of the power seats. You've got buttons that are familiar and are laid out very easily. The bolstering is actually very good. It keeps you in place. I will say one thing though. Visibility is not the greatest thing on the planet. Drink. But hey, it's a sports car. So the amenities are there, but they're there for only one thing, which is to help you drive. The steering wheel is also beefy and substantial to hold. You get your cruise and your audio controls here, an all-digital gauge cluster with a heads-up display there, an 8.8-inch touchscreen infotainment system with a 12-speaker JBL sound system and subs, baby, that doubles as your reverse camera, and a button that can turn anyone into a hooligan. The Toyota GR Supra comes equipped with driver front, driver knee, passenger, side, and curtain airbags, ABS, vehicle stability control, traction control, a start-stop system, a tire pressure monitoring system, and ISOFIX tethers. Just kidding, it doesn't have ISOFIX tethers, but it does have launch control. Driving the GR Supra sensibly is actually extremely doable. We actually thought we'd have to compromise a lot when driving this automobile inside the city over humps, but no slower maneuvers required. Yes, it is a sports car, yes, we'll give it that, but when you're not ringing it and you're not putting your foot to the metal, it's actually a very classy and smooth drive. I like it. The engine is superbly refined, and the transmission too, the same thing. Even in low-speed situations, it's silky smooth. But when you accelerate and you put your foot down, you feel the gears lock into place. Whether you're upshifting or even downshifting, man, this thing is a beast. Now, ride comfort is actually very good, very superb. Better than we expected, really. Inside the city, it's very composed. On the highway, it's actually pretty quiet. Well, almost pretty quiet. Up front, yes, it's quiet because the 255s are tame. But at the rear, you've got your 275s, and those guys are loud, regardless of what you do. So on the highway, you will hear a little bit. But in general, the NVH is actually pretty darn good. It's so quiet. Now, the visibility in this car, yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. It's not much when you're looking forward, and there are blind spots left and right, so you will have to turn your neck to make sure that you don't bump into anything. And you're also sitting pretty low, so the lights at the back when they're coming at you, that might be bothersome. But at the very least, your mirrors are actually electronically dimmed, so that at least is a very nice touch. The turbo does kick in rather early in the rev range, which means it's more linear than most, but the kick is still there, which is very nice. God, this thing is a machine! Downshifting and upshifting is razor sharp. The steering, again, is also razor sharp. The pops and bangs coming out of the rear is great. The handling is amazing. It truly is a fun machine to drive. It's an excellent machine. It can be described even as an ultimate driving machine. Whoa! Whoa! It's so good, but there's gotta be a downside, right? Okay, if you really want to nitpick, there is one tiny little bit downside. The brakes. 4-piston caliper up front, excellent for everyday use and even a little bit of fun on the track. But if you are serious about this car and do want to take it out on the track heavily, that's gonna need an upgrade. But that's it. That's really just about it. Even the seating position is not a problem. Jack, who is much larger than I am, when he first drove this car, he thought that it was gonna be a problem. But after a while, he was like, no, I miss somebody hugging me. What? Wait, did I say that right? Oh man!
It's lockdown, man.
Get me out of this chair! My gosh, Jack! Now, there are a lot of people pissed at this car and pissed at Toyota and BMW for this car. And yeah, while we do completely understand them, I'd like to thank those two companies, because without them, this car wouldn't exist. Sure, a lot of people say this particular Supra actually kills the rest of the Supra line. No, not really. Without those two companies, again, this car wouldn't exist, and the joy that it is to drive. And let me point this out. The Toyota actually doesn't need to make this car to make money. Goodness grief, they can make 10 billion other cars, but they do so because they can, and they want us to enjoy the driving experience that is this frigging Supra, man. This Supra! A beautiful piece of machinery. Well done. Very beautiful. Congratulations to Toyota and their German counterparts for producing such a beautiful automobile. That goes to show, and it proves, that high horsepower figures don't necessarily mean excellent performance in an automobile. You don't have to have specs to the moon and back just to simply make a great car. We'd also like to use these exact same compliments to describe our bosses at AutoDeal in an attempt to sort of like brown nose on them, because, well, we want to apologize for blowing almost half our budget on shooting this one particular car, because it's just so great. That on its own should be a testament on how good this car is. Speaking of bosses, however, it might take a lot of convincing to get one of these, because it's priced at 5,050,000 Philippine pesos. However, I do have a solution for that, because if you like red, that one comes in at under 5 million Philippine pesos.